You are watching Weho Sports. I am watching Weho Sports. Weho Sports.
Well, good evening and welcome to Weho Sports. My name is Raul Alonso and I'm your host. Yes, don't be in shock. You are seeing a pound of marijuana in my table tonight. We are going to be talking about marijuana. We have one of the most influential gentlemen in the cannabis ever, Richard Eastman. And we also have my co-host coming back, Mr. Jamal. Welcome, guys. How you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So
Great to be back on your show.
It's great to see you again, man.
Yes.
I saw you on Pride, and
Right.
I know you're going to the White House, and we're going to
Right.
touch a little bit on all of that. But let's talk about all these 49 victims in Orlando. You know,
I've been a
was-
gay man for 63 years. I just turned 63. I'm living with AIDS for 22 years. And ultimately, it's been an attack on all of us. I was at City Hall with Lady Gaga last week. And ultimately, this is a horrible thing because, you know, these people that want to kill us just because of who we love, it's been going on for thousands of years. And it's got to stop. Love, no hate. I mean, this is like, where is it going to end? You know, I mean...
What do you think, Jamal? You're the one that called me and say I have to be on this show.
Yeah.
Because you were so broken down.
I was really brokenhearted when I heard the news. At first, I really couldn't believe that something would like that even happen in such a safe place. For me, being someone 22 years old, that is a place that you go to not to just party and drink with your friends or whatever, but it's an escape from all the other worlds and judgments. So for something like that, so tragic to happen in such a place that was held sacred, regardless of where you were from, it was always okay to go to a gay bar. You know, it was never an issue. I've been outside the state and gone to one. There's never been an issue there. But what I would like to say to our community now is that I was reading some tweets about a lesbian and who's a lot older, who's lived through like the Stonewall riots and so on and so forth. And I would like to say that her tweets touched me a lot. That this is a call to action for us to not sit quietly anymore, but to stand proud and be, as a lack for a better term, to be gayer than ever. Not to necessarily, I'm not saying to fight back, but to never, not hide. It's not the time to hide in the corners anymore. We've already been through that stage. Let's not go back in the closet. Again, I wish I think the worst thing about it all is that none of us could really do anything at the time but just say, I'm sorry. That's what sucked the most, I guess, is just, you can't, there's nothing you can do.
And the whole intimidation part is that it could have been any of us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We all go to gay clubs. It could have been any of us.
People visiting Florida
Right.
just for that one night.
You know, and unfortunately, because, you know, it's Gay Pride Month this month, and unfortunately, they picked a way that they were trying to scare us, but, you know, that's the overwhelming support around the world has been fantastic. President Obama was there today and Joe Biden,
Right.
you know, to comfort the victims. I mean, you can never comfort somebody that way, but it's good to know that, you know, your first guy online comes down to
Right.
at least be with you and go through your pain and things like that. And when I heard the news, it was devastated.
When I heard the news, I was more devastated because ultimately, 46 years ago, I was marching down Hollywood Boulevard in the first Pride Parade with Morris Kite and all the leaders of the LGBT community. And flashback 46 years later, we're still being attacked. I remember having to go to gay bars in the late 60s and the 70s, and there'd be a red light. And if the red light went on, you couldn't dance. You couldn't touch your friend. That's because the sheriffs and the police would come in the bars and physically drag you out and arrest you. That was pre-Stonewall, 69 and before then. I look a little young because medical marijuana has been part of my life. But talking about, the victims of hate crimes, this has been going on for thousands of years. They're calling us queers, fags, everything. And when they came out with the word gay, I turned down a lot of young people that were trying to hook up with me because I thought queer and fag was the word. I used to say I'm happy. When they said I was gay, they said, "Are you gay?" I said, "I'm happy," and then I didn't get a date. But, this is that was 46 years ago. And here, living with AIDS for so long and fighting for a little plant that saved people with AIDS and cancer and glaucoma and Morris Kite, and then getting to the difficulty with what are they charging for our pride. I don't see people paying $50 to go to a straight pride festival. I spoke out against Christopher Street West recently because $35 to get into an event that was free in the beginning. I'm horrified that the city of West Hollywood has allowed this to happen. Our gay pride has been hijacked by a bunch of entrepreneurs that get big salaries, whether they say they don't. My underground sources say that they're making money over there at CSW.
Of course they're making a lot of money.
I mean, it costs a lot of money to put on the event. I understand that because I do an event at the White House. It doesn't cost a lot of money, 4th of July smoking. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But why do young gay men and women and LGBTs have to pay $35 to celebrate our pride when 46 years ago I didn't?
Well, my question is, LA and Long Beach is the only gay prize that pay money to get in.
Right. New York, San Francisco.
Everywhere
free.
else
Right.
is donation.
Right.
So you
Right.
can give $1 if
Right.
you don't have any money.
So I say
and you can go in free if you want.
Fight back. And
Well-
next year we need to get the price dropped or maybe make West Hollywood make it free or I might have to move.
And that's why I talked about it so bad a couple of weeks ago before Pride.
Right.
Because I thought it was an injustice to do what they're
is an
doing.
injustice.
And they're taking it to a totally
Right.
different
Right.
level. They're respecting transgenders,
Right.
they're respecting
Right.
lesbian, they're respecting older LGTB, disabled LGTB.
Right.
And to me, that's not
Right.
cool.
And it seems like they're catering to the big corporate mongers like Wells Fargo and alcohol and tobacco companies that kill our children. We know that alcohol makes people stupid. We know that nicotine is an insecticide. We also know that nobody ever dies from marijuana. Marijuana saved my life. 22 years ago, I had 22 T cells. That means under 200 T cells. I had 6 months to live. If it wasn't for Dr. Farthing, who's now deceased, and the AIDS Healthcare Foundation and Michael Weinstein, even though I disagree with him for some of his policies, fighting for high rises and not having doctors for us, we don't even have a doctor in my clinic right now. And that's a shout out to you, all the patients in LA that are living with HIV. If you're going to AHF and you don't have a doctor, you better contact your congressmen and your senators and ask them why Michael Weinstein is putting more money into fighting high rises and condoms and porn stars, and I don't have a doctor at my clinic. So, they want to kill us. Who are they? The bad government. It's not Republicans, it's not Democrats, it's not even Bernie, Hillary, or Trump. It's a good government and a bad one. And that's what we've been fighting for hundreds of years. And ultimately, this election is so tough, kids. I don't want to hog too much time here. But ultimately, a shout out to Hillary Clinton, our nominee, whether it's in Philadelphia that they officially anoint her. And Bernie Sanders, God bless him. He put in a good try. I'm sure he will have a place, maybe on the ticket with her, maybe in her administration. And dump the Trump and burn the Bushes. Thank God we got rid of Jeb Bush. Prescott Bush was an American Nazi. I'm saying this because it's true. That was the grandfather of the Bush family. 9/11, think about it. Was it done? We remember Hitler burned the Reichstag. What's Donald Trump going to do to our country? In California, they just passed a law that says I can take a pill if I want to commit suicide because I have a terminal illness. Is that coming next for AIDS patients? Are they going to say, we can't afford your $40,000 a year, Richard, or whoever's living with AIDS, and you have an option now in California, you can commit suicide. You ask your doctor, they'll give you some pills. Is that coming next? That sounds like, they want to get rid of us. Who are they?
Well,
the bad government.
I think part of it is not so much. They're trying to give us the right that if we
Well, if you're
want to
really,
kill
really,
ourselves,
yeah.
don't commit suicide.
Right,
just
right.
go get a pill and
Right.
you just slowly
But
fall
the
asleep and
point-
you'll never wake up.
The
That would
point
be
I
an
brought up
excuse.
was the
That-
pills.
but that's the excuse. And it just passed, like Richard said, it just
It's another
passed.
way to kill people.
And
You know, and killing gay people has been going on for thousands of years. I mean,
like a
killing people
sport
of
now.
color. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
You
like a
know,
fucking sport.
Look what happened with marijuana. In 1937, we got J. Edgar Hoover, we got Anslinger, we got Hearst, all racists. And ultimately what they wanted to do is people of color have been using marijuana for thousands of years as a medicine. The Chinese documented 5,000 years. They found it in an Iceman in Iceland had 25,000 years ago. And black and brown kids, they didn't like the Mexicans, they didn't like the Negroes, okay, or black people. You know, why did they do this? Well, put them in jail, extend slavery. So, in 1995, when Dennis Perone opened the first cannabis buyers club in California, and I only had 6 months to live, I went up to his pot shop in San Francisco, the San Francisco Cannabis Buyers Club, and he said, Richard, I need you to open a cannabis buyers club. Where? In West Hollywood. So I came down here and I talked to John Heilman and Abby Land and Steve Martin and Jeffrey Prang and Sal Garelio, and they said, do it. And we did it. And we won that law. In fact, Proposition 215 had more votes than President Clinton at that time. And here we are, Raul, 20 years later.
20 years later.
20 years later on the anniversary of medical marijuana, and they're still trying to kill me because I'm gay, I'm a hippie, I like weed, I like freedom, I want to feed people. You know, nobody should go hungry, I want to house people. I ran for office a couple of times. God forbid I don't live in West Hollywood. I would have been the mayor a long time ago. A shout out to Lauren Meister and the new mayor and the council people that are here. You know, this is the 20th anniversary, kids. All the West Hollywood people that are watching this, we're going to celebrate. On July 4th, I'm going to the White House again. For 46 years, we've had an event called the Smoke In at the White House. Okay? Why? We don't smoke in at the White House, but this is a poster that a man who used to work for a major studio designed for me absolutely free. I didn't want to be George Washington for weed, but ultimately I just wanted to be alive. I wanted everything to be free from the hippie days. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I did the leather for hair. I saved the Hollywood sign. It ain't about me. It's about you. You have to contact your congressmen, your senators. Stop the war on people. Lady Gaga had it the other night right. She said this is a war on all of us. And it really is.
It is.
They attacked gay and lesbian and bisexual and transgender people in Orlando, but it's a war on all of us. There is an Illuminati. There is a corrupt capitalist system. There are 68 people that have all the money in the world. Who's the 69th person? It certainly ain't me or Dennis Perone. But marijuana saved my life, and we're going to talk more about Orlando.
That's.
You know, Orlando.
But
What's
you've been
next?
doing this for
My
a
whole
long
life.
time.
53
And
years.
you brought us some
Yeah,
example.
I brought this is a pound of Humboldt medical marijuana, and I started a program 5 years ago with some
Let me see this
anonymous
baby.
donors. We give out free weed every Wednesday night.
I
Union
have a
Square to
baby.
people that are
It feels
poor.
so
In
good.
West Hollywood, I give it out to poor people. People on the street, nursing homes. I make pot
You want to
brownies.
hold the baby?
This is a shout out to Brownie Mary. This is a pot brownie, so if you can't smoke it, you can eat it.
Right.
It's a no-brainer. Alcohol makes you stupid. Tobacco is an insecticide. Marijuana makes you happy, hungry, and horny. I don't say that. How do you feel about marijuana?
I'm all for it.
Have you ever tried it?
Of course I've tried it. You know,
Right.
I've been to college. Anybody in college has tried it.
Okay, do you remember what Barack
Yeah.
Obama said? They asked Barack Obama, and it's in his book, if you haven't read it yet. They said, did you inhale like Bill Clinton? He said, wasn't that the point? Okay.
Right.
Because it's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's true.
Who would want to smoke
Right.
marijuana and not inhale and get
Right,
the real
right. So, you know-
substance of it? You know, it's
yeah,
ridiculous
you know.
if you're just going to blow it out.
Right.
A
You know,
final
it doesn't
shout
make
out
any
for the
sense.
smoking at the White House, July 4th at high noon. We're going to gather in Lafayette Park.
But you also do an event here in West Hollywood.
Yes, I'm planning the 20th anniversary of medical marijuana coming up when I get back from Washington, D.C. It's not just the smoking at the White House that I'm going to in 2 weeks. On July 1st, I'm gone till August 1st. I'm at the White House on July 4th, like I've been for the last 8 years, on a permit issued by the National Park Service, the District of Columbia Police, and the Secret Service. Give me a First Amendment permit to gather in Lafayette Park. Hundreds of people gather. We have speeches. We don't actually smoke marijuana on federal land. It's still federally against the law.
Right.
We need to get it rescheduled. Hillary Clinton said she would take it from level 1 and put it in level 2, which makes it prescribable, and the government would have to pay for it, like Medicare and Medi-Cal. And ultimately, Bernie said he wanted to legalize for everybody. Legalization is a trap.
But they used to do this. People used to get free marijuana.
Well, only from the hippies.
In the past,
only
people
from the
that were
hippies.
sick,
Only
there
from
was
the hippies. It was called the Compassionate Use Act.
right,
Yes. And now
they
it's all
cut it
about
out.
money. It's all about money.
Right.
So
Because you used
let's
to
get
be
back-
home and they used to
Let's
send
get back
you
to what's happening
a
on the
whole
East Coast.
thing of marijuana.
Okay.
Like a package.
When
Yeah.
I'm done at the White House, 2 weeks later, I'm going to Cleveland. I've never been to a Republican convention. I'm buying a gas mask. Trump has threatened riots. I'm going to be prepared. I'm going as a citizen journalist. I'm going to give out free marijuana on the East Coast. And then a week after that, I'm in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, where they're going to anoint Hillary Clinton, the presumed nominee for the presidency of the United States. The first woman in 240 years. The first woman in 240 years.
And the one that's been more prepared
Right.
than any
Anybody. And she's got
president
Bill on her
ever.
side. And ultimately, after that, well, I'm coming back. And like he said, I'm planning something here in Los Angeles and San Francisco too. Dennis Perrone, a man that knew Harvey Milk. I knew Harvey Milk too. I didn't know him as close as Dennis. They met in a bathhouse. You can imagine how they knew each other.
you know.
But ultimately, I'm back in August, maybe just before the election. In October, the city will give me the auditorium because I understand they're going to tear it down, the building that we're in
Well,
right
it's
now.
going to be a couple years before they do that.
Right, but ultimately we want to do the 20th anniversary celebration, and it's going to be a get out the vote rally for all the Democratic candidates, including Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, and Adam Schiff for Congress. You know, I have forgotten. I threw out a couple of names that are really important to me: Hillary, Kamala, Schiff. Adam Schiff is my congressman. He's a congressman for Los Angeles. He's a great man. He helped broker the freedom for marijuana that people are enjoying, not only in Los Angeles, but 24 states, the District of Columbia. It's legal in Washington, D.C. for Barack Obama if he wants to go in the back room of the White House to smoke his marijuana or eat a brownie. Okay? It's a no-brainer. There's a bad initiative on the ballot. This coming November, don't vote for AMA. The Adult Use of Marijuana Act is a Trojan horse. It's been put on the ballot by Sean Parker, who represents $700 million. He doesn't represent free weed for the patients. It's greed. Because ultimately, when you go to a lot of these cannabis clubs or pot shops, they want to charge you $65 for 5 joints. This big bag of weed here can go anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000. When I was a child in Haight-Ashbury hanging out with the hippies 50 years ago, you could get a kilo, 2 pounds, for $50. Now that's greed. Ultimately, the government doesn't want to pay. That's why they've dragged their feet. But with Hillary Clinton as president, she has said she's going to take it to level 2, which will take it out of like heroin, and ultimately the government will have to pay for it. In level 2, I won't have to go to a pot shop. You won't have to go to a pot shop. You'll just ask your doctor for a prescription. You take it to your pharmacy, and they will give you the marijuana, and the government will pay for it. That is why they tried to stop me for not only the last 20 years, but for 53 years. Because when they killed my president in 1963, remember these words: ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And ultimately, that's what Richard Eastman and Dennis Perrone and the millions of pot smokers across America have done the last 100 years to keep people of color out of jail, because black and brown kids suffered the most from the marijuana laws, which was an extension of racial slavery, and it had to end. And I want to thank Barack Obama, because when he was a senator, there was no pot shops in Denver when I went there. And I'm not.
And now
there's
one
hundreds
of the biggest
them.
providers
And
of American
Some people
marijuana.
think I'm like the Pied Piper or Johnny Appleseed. I'm just a gay man living with AIDS for 22 years that hung out with the hippies and sang this song. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Give me a head of hair, long beautiful hair. Once upon a looking for Donna, she was an 18-year-old virgin. I changed it a little in the play. It was 16-year-old virgin. So I don't want to hog the rest of the show. This young man wants to talk more about Orlando. But a shout out to everybody. You can get a hold of me at Richard Eastman 53 at yahoo.com. Once again, Richard Eastman 53 at yahoo.com. join me at the White House this 4th
And
of July.
congratulations again for
Yeah.
doing everything that you've been doing
Well,
for medical marijuana and for
freedom.
and for freedom and for all of the patients
Thank you.
out there, not only
Thank
for HIV patients but
Right.
anybody
Everybody,
that,
cancer,
that
glaucoma,
needs it.
MS.
Right.
I didn't even tell you, I got 750 T cells. That's more than somebody my age without AIDS. I still have to take a handful of pills. I don't know what's in them. I got some rotten teeth. But the Ryan White Care Act, Ryan White, the little kid that died of AIDS, that I fought for 22 years, has decided to spend $4,000 to fix my mouth so I can sit there with Hillary Clinton when she's appointed or nominated or elected the President of the United States.
Fantastic.
Now it's your turn to
Fantastic.
talk for 10 minutes.
So, what do you feel about all of this? That's a lot of information
That was a
thrown
lot
in.
of information. I feel like it's good to know that there are people still doing something, and that's someone with that kind of track record like yours with yourself.
Right.
It's something that I would like to actually get into myself. I've got some things I'm working on to help spread awareness about the. I think there should be some sort of gun restrictions. I haven't thought it all the way through. You know, I'm taking it the best I can, one step at a time. But I feel like there's something that needs to be done, and I hate to just sit back and wait for some sort of superhero with a cape on to come and do something. I'm going to do it myself. So I'm going to try and do what I can. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but on Thursday there will be something to show.
Well,
I
fantastic.
think I've said enough that I've said about Orlando. Except just one more time, I just want to really make it clear that now is not the time to become scared and hide back in the closet. Now is the time to stand out and be proud and remember those who have passed already. The thing that I saw today that was a little edgy, but I agreed with the most, is that we shouldn't pray for them. We should go party, drink, and have fun with our friends for them because they've missed out on. They went to do that, and it was taken from them.
The new thing that's taking the internet by storm is like you and your lover kissing and putting a picture online.
Public, yeah.
Because apparently that was the cause of this murder, and now
That's what the
everybody
father
is doing
said,
the
right?
thing. So
There's a lot of things being said about this and that. The reality is we have 49 people dead.
It's
okay?
true.
So I don't really care what caused it. There's no reason to justify what happened whatsoever. There's no way to dice that. I can't put that any more clear.
I totally agree with you. There's
Yeah.
there's no words. There's nothing that we can say.
There's nothing you
to
can
take
say
the
or do.
pain
Exactly.
or anything. You know, but be supportive. That's the only thing. And the way we're gonna be showing support is by stepping out and doing what we do all the time. We cannot sit down and be afraid of these assholes. That
Right.
one mind in their head, either because he was on the down low or whatever he was
Whatever
doing.
the hell his
you know,
problem was.
But you know,
I also believe that it's not important to try and blame this on all Muslims.
no,
That is
no,
not.
absolutely.
Please,
I agree with you.
I cannot
I
stand when I see that
I
on.
totally agree with you. This was just a guy that was born here.
Right, American citizens, so
American
that goes to
citizen.
show you
So
that
he was
anybody
a
American
homegrown
can become
terrorist,
dangerous.
You know, and it's a sad thing to see that, you know, these people will take it to that level. But I do have just a little interview about somebody that talked about a little bit about, I went on the streets on Gay Pride and I asked people to tell me a little bit, to say something about Orlando and stuff. So this is Gay Pride. There was a lot of support for Orlando through all Gay Pride. So, so even the Gay and Lesbian Center had a mariachi on and stuff. So it was fantastic to be there and to see. You guys are so wonderful. And
Mr. Unity.
I noticed that you are asking people to write on the floor stuff for Orlando. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's Pride, and usually we march in the parade and we celebrate. And this year, Pride means more than ever with this horrible shooting in Orlando and this person in Santa Monica trying to blow up our parade. Pride was founded on and has ever since been a beacon, like a lighthouse for all of those, whether they're here or out in rural places with very few gay resources. It says there is a gay community, there is gay joy, there are gay people, and there's so many of us and so many varieties of us that we will not be able to go away, to be destroyed or be removed. And this year we wanted to come out and make that point and remind people of that point. And we also wanted to use chalk and allow people the opportunity to get some of their emotions off their chest by writing in public. West Hollywood is a gay town, not exclusively, but in large part a gay town. And on Gay Pride weekend, we kind of take it over. It becomes safe space for all of us. And we wanted to allow people to mark their space with their emotions about what happened to our brothers and sisters in Orlando. We need to mourn those that we've lost. It is a violation. But once we've cried, and we should cry, we need then to remember that our task in the world and what we bring to the broader community, straight people, everyone, is joy, is an understanding of something that's different, that's outside the everyday way of thinking, the everyday way of running a country, running a society. We need to go back to that job of reminding people or educating people about the other, the creative, the queer, the open-hearted, the different, because it's only once we do that, person to person to person, that these people will raise their children without hate and will raise their children with open minds so that they can accept people and not kill people. Good afternoon.
So there you have it.
Beautifully put.
What do you guys think about
Beautifully
that?
put. The only thing I would not even add, but it was just join us in the celebration of that. Don't, like, I read something about there's some rules to comes Gay Pride, and I believe the biggest one is to respect. Not even you're a guest here as a straight person, but just come and enjoy, like, the happiness and joy and acceptance that we bring to everyone with us, not against us. Try and understand before you try and destroy. And that's the problem within America. When we don't understand something, we try and destroy it immediately.
It's a very true.
Especially if it's starting to
totally
mess
agree.
with your money. But that's a different conversation.
A very famous president once said the only thing to fear is fear itself. And they conquer people with fear. And ultimately, this situation that has happened is not going to end here or there. Ultimately, I'm telling everybody, love, no hate. My friend came up with that term. It's a character here in West Hollywood, but I agree with him. Love, no hate. Love conquers all. If we can't love one another, we should not even think of the word hate. Ultimately, love is the drug. And ultimately, all the other stuff that happens in life is a diversion to keep you from that love. And the Gay Pride Parade, to me, when I marched down Hollywood Boulevard in 1970 with about 1,000 people at Morris Kite, and a lot of the people that aren't here, all the thousands of people that died of AIDS, why am I here today? Because I work for Mother Nature. And Mother Nature is a plant called marijuana. And healing of the nation can come with, well, not just the weed, but gun control, perhaps. We need to stop these weapons of mass destruction. I know the NRA is going to be mad at Eastman, but you know what? They killed my friend Harvey Milk. They shot Mr. Perone, the same cops that busted me in 1969. And why did they ever not want to shoot Mr. Eastman? Well, they gave him AIDS. It didn't work. Remember the movie War of the Worlds? How did they get the Martians? The littlest germs.
So
okay?
we're getting ready to go off.
Yeah.
So see you guys next week, same time, same channel, maybe different people. Hasta la vista.
Peace and
Stay.
love.
Love everybody.
Okay.